What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Vertical Podcast. I am Byron Garcia, and as always, to my left sits the Jared Morphew. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And don't forget to like and comment as well. We want to try to grow the channel as much as possible and continue to reach others. So please help us out by doing so. Now, by the time, this comes out, today would be Monday when today released. So because we're recording, it's a previously recorded podcast. We don't know who won the Super Bowl yet, but by the time it comes out, there'll be a Super Bowl winner.
Right now, as you're listening to this, it's actually February the 3rd.
Correct.
So by the time, yes, they will have, we have no idea. They have no idea right now as we're speaking.
Yeah.
But when they hear this, they'll know that the Eagles won, right?
Is that who we're pulling for? I don't know. I don't really have, like they say, a dog in that race. It's whoever,
I didn't have a dog. Well, okay. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So I love the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
I'll just start out by saying that.
But.
Okay, here we go. So in high school, I went to a few of their games at Arrowhead Stadium. And then I went to one with my cousin and his dad in my 20s. And I've been to their games.
Yeah.
Love them. I mean, pastor of the last church I was at, he's from there, and he's like big Kansas City Chiefs fan.
So you just didn't jump on the bandwagon here recently like everybody else did?
Yes. No, it wasn't a Mahomes thing. It's been since
know who you are.
Yes, you do. And see, that's when I jumped off. Anyways, so we're getting there.
Okay.
High school. So I went through the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And love them. I mean, obviously, I'm not a super Chiefs fan because if I was, I'd still be.
Mm-hmm.
But
red, huh?
I did like them, though. And I'm not, I really not just have a real team in the NFL that I just really get behind like I do the Razorbacks.
Yeah.
Razorbacks like ride or die. Don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have that in the NFL.
That's
or
our
the NBA.
collegiate team for the state.
Yes, Arkansas Razorbacks. That, yes. And but anyways, any professional teams, I have certain ones I really like.
Yeah.
But nothing I'm just going to fight somebody over. Oh, I wouldn't fight over the Razorbacks, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it gets Mahomes. He gets his first Super Bowl. Awesome. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So happy for Kansas City. I'm that guy. Like, I wore my old school T-shirts that I had so people would know, like, I wasn't a bandwagon fan.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second year they win it, and they were amazing the first year. Second year, they're okay. I could see them win a Super Bowl. This year, something happened. They got so famous. Two things entered the picture.
Big head, huh?
Oh, yeah. They got the big head. And they started getting whiny. Here's what happened. The two things that really threw me.
All right, let's hear it.
They got whiny. They got flag happy.
Okay.
Every time they get hit, oh.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Yeah, Mahomes in the last few games, they've seen it. I mean, there's memes about it. Where he'll, in the NBA, LeBron James, can't stand him. Michael Jordan all the way.
Yeah.
Best ever. So he's starting to pull that in the NFL. I didn't think that was possible. So he's running the sideline. You barely touch him. He flops. His arms go back.
Diva-ish, you think?
Little diva. Yeah, he's turning that way because,
Yeah,
big head. He's it's getting to him.
Yeah.
And he was kind of humble the first couple, that first Super Bowl, but now it's came around like he's expecting to win. And anyway, so here's what got me: the crybaby mentality.
Okay.
Refs, you better call it for me, and then you can see it in real time where you're going, oh my goodness, that was not that call. Okay, I can see it happening once.
Yeah.
But then it happens twice. Then it happens 3 times, all in one game. And it's not going the other team's way at all. There's no 50-50 calls. They get all of them.
Yeah.
So it's starting to add up. I'm like, oh, okay, this is starting to get ridiculous. I'm kind of embarrassed because it's looking bad for the Chiefs. It looks bad on them. So you got that. You got the crybaby factor. Whining because they want a flag. And they get it, which is even worse. What happens when you give a crying baby something that they want? They cry more.
You're right.
They
That's
don't
the way
get it.
to get something.
Yes. So, boom. That's number 1. Number 2, which is the worst. I could almost take the crying, which is bad enough. And some people are going to hate me for this. You may hate me for this. I doubt it, though. But I don't know. You might be a Swiftie. You said probably. Oh.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Dare you talk about her like
Byron.
that? No.
I knew it.
No, yeah, I get it. She gets more TV time than like some of the players, coaches, and
well, and used to Travis Kelce. I get it, they're dating. She's super famous, ultra famous, and when he would score a touchdown, boom, it'd pan to her. Well, midway through the season, somebody get a first down that you don't even know, and it pans to her.
Yeah.
It go before a commercial break.
no
It goes to
reason.
her.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's no reason. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. She's Taylor Swift with the Chiefs. Like they're synonymous now. They're together. Like the Chiefs and Taylor Swift got married, not Travis Kelce,
Yeah.
the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are benefiting from the money that she brings in.
It's a business. You're using her as propaganda, right?
Absolutely. It's entertainment business all the way around, both sides of it. And so that's the stigma behind the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. They made it because of that and the refs. It's all been geared. It's entertainment. So to me, there's a stain on the Super Bowl. All right, way back in the day, don't quote me. I don't know when this was, but it was way back in the day. Like some of the first Super Bowls to come around. I don't know when that was. I'd have to look it up. I might do it. It was called not the Blizzard Bowl. It may have been the Blizzard Bowl. But it was just snowing like crazy. So there's certain Super Bowls that have this little name to it because of what happened. This one's going to be like the Stain Super Bowl because there's going to be the stain behind it of whoever wins it didn't really win it. Because
Even if the Eagles win it, you don't
if
think?
the Eagles win it, they'll say, well, the Chiefs wanted to clear their name. So if the Chiefs do win it, they won it because of the reasons we just spoke about.
Yeah.
If the Eagles win it, it's to balance the power back in the refs' favor.
Well,
Ooh.
yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, it does seem,
It's like a WWE Super Bowl.
yeah, it does seem a bit blatant. Like when you like these calls, like at least make it look believable because it's so far fetched. It's like you know that wasn't even close to a first down, and they give them a first down or something like that, and it's like, okay, that's crazy.
Right.
And it's hard to, like me, like I said, I don't root for them, I don't root against them, but so because I am just a unbiased,
right.
just spectator, I look and I'm like, if they were playing against my team, that would upset me.
Right, yeah.
Or if that's my team, I'm like, okay, they got away with one. Oh, they got away with another one, and another one, and another one. And it's like, okay, I don't feel like that victory. We earned it because everything was just handed to us.
Yes. That's me. I became a villain. I'm
They
that
said,
little kid in the story that's like, yay, holding up his little figurines, and then one day he just gets really angry.
So they say that what happened, their question is like, what happened to all the New England Patriots fans? It's like, oh, they're all Kansas City Chiefs fans. It's like they're all over there, and because what happened to all of them? Like they just disappeared.
That's so true. I didn't think about that. They used to be everywhere.
All of a sudden, everybody was a New England Patriot.
Yes.
Tom Brady or New England, and
yes. Well, it's like the 90s, all the Cowboys fans.
I don't watch a lot of NFL. I watch a lot of college. So I follow players on different teams, and that's really how I root. I was like, I like that quarterback or I like that receiver played for whoever, USC or the Razorbacks or whoever. So let me ask you this real quick before we get going on this topic. Who is, and I'm going to say I'm going to throw the word "you're" in there because everybody seems to have difference of opinions. Who is your GOAT in the NBA?
Oh, yeah, I already said it. It's Michael Jordan.
That
Hands
is,
down, no question.
Because you're younger, so I figured you'd be a little LeBron, maybe lean towards.
Ooh, no, LeBron was way after me. Yeah, 90s. Chicago Bulls grew up. When I graduated, I was
Y'all
out.
the same age.
Huh?
You're the same age.
LeBron was after us.
Yeah, no, but you and him are the same age, so when...
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. No, I didn't grow up watching him, but... When he
Not
did get in, it was I did watch him though. Yes,
yeah.
When he was with Dwayne Wade and the Heat and all that, I got it, and it's like Mahomes first couple of years. I get it. Okay, watch him kind of see where he's at, and then he started jumping teams and doing the flopping, and it just ruined the NBA.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Michael didn't ruin the NBA. He made the NBA there in the 90s.
For me as well as Michael Jordan. I watched him growing up, and just the LeBron thing, yeah, I can't deny how good of a basketball player he is and the longevity of him taking care of himself, but still, it's just like the whining, the flopping, I can't do that,
Sorry, I got offended. You said me and him was the same age and we had something in common.
Yeah.
And it just like,
y'all look alike. And,
sorry. Can I say something really quick? By the way, if you haven't noticed, this is way different. Way different. We've been talking about you guys being able to see our personality types a little bit better, what we talk about outside of when we talk about very serious topics like we've been on. And we decided we'd talk about, Super Bowl's coming up and there's big trades going on in the NBA and we love sports, obviously. And we just wanted, I don't know. What do you think?
Cut loose a little bit, just kind of not be wound up so tight a little bit. We want to show who we truly are, our personality, wanted to come through. So I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Applause.
Okay.
Yeah, personality.
So, okay, let me ask you let's run through a few sports real quick. We're not take a lot of time. NFL, who's the NFL GOAT? I know it's hard because of positions, but as far as just who you think is the
Modern
top.
day of just overall.
Yeah, just overall.
Overall. Oh man, I'm stuck on 3 teams, and I know Tony Stowers. If he ever hears this, he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. They're up there.
I'm talking about individual player.
Oh, individual
Yeah,
players.
who is the best NFL player?
I gotta hold back vomit really quick before I say this
There
name.
we go.
I'm gonna hold it back. I don't want to throw up.
Open your
Okay,
mouth
here
a
we
little
go.
bit. Okay.
It's Tom Brady.
Yuck,
I don't even like saying that. I hate that I even said that out loud. But the stats don't lie. Dude is a machine.
now it exists. It's out there forever. That Jared proclaimed. That's his GOAT.
But it's also out there that I'm a
there's
truth teller.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm the same way. I wasn't a Tom Brady fan.
But would you put him up there?
The whole defect. Yeah, I feel like for a long time when he won his first few Super Bowls, I still believe Joe Montana was the GOAT.
Yes. Yeah.
And when he just kept winning and winning, it's kind of undeniable at some point.
Yes.
So that's how I feel about Patrick Mahomes now.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming.
Oh yeah.
It's Brady's reign didn't last very long as far as after he retired because he's got one. It's not like he's like the GOAT for decades and all of a sudden here comes this, up and comer. It's like he just retired and this guy's winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
It's the whole thing that what's that Batman movie? I think it's The Dark Knight Rises or it's The Dark Knight. Can't remember which one. It's the one with Christian Bale where he's the Batman. One of the newer ones like Heath Ledger. It's one of those two.
Okay.
And he says at the end of the movie, it says you live long enough. If you're the hero long enough,
Right.
you live to be the villain
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. And it's like Mahomes. He's been there long enough that people are starting to hate him.
Yeah.
Now he's the villain.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like the hero lives long. If he lives long enough, I don't know, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? It's it's got that turn to it.
Yeah.
But it's he's done it so much, and I've heard it said that it's called Chiefs fatigue or Mahomes fatigue. Like they win so much, it's like people are tired of seeing them win.
I think it's like anything. You kind of get tired of. You want fresh faces, something new to
Right.
cheer for or to cheer against, and so you become from like being this neutral person. For me, I could easily say, "Oh, I'm gonna root against the Chiefs." I just want to see somebody else win it.
Yeah,
So if you ask me who I'm rooting for the Super Bowl, I'd probably say the Eagles just to see somebody different win it.
okay, yeah. It's
I
like those guys that would root for the Utah Jazz back in the day with Stockton and Malone because they were sick of seeing the Bulls win so
Right.
much. It's like, okay, now we're going to go for these guys.
Yeah.
Not so much because of
they were the fans or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. So another one real quick. You may not know anything about this. Soccer. You got a soccer goat? You know, if you say you're gonna throw some random name like
No, I do have. I mean, I seen where his was one of the most expensive jerseys.
you're gonna say some crazy name out there
Try
that you're gonna like.
I'll say yes
The
or no. I'll give
people
you
are
three.
gonna-
I'll give you three, and I'll tell you if that's what I'm thinking of.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, okay, Cristiano Ronaldo. Is that who you're thinking?
No.
Are you thinking? I feel like I don't know how much you know about soccer, so I feel like
A little.
like probably you're thinking maybe like David Beckham type thing.
No. I'll tell you a funny story about that real quick. When I was in California, I was eating at a restaurant, and I was trying something out, and there was some pretty girls around us.
Yeah.
And I was talking about, and somebody said, "Aren't you his cousin?" And I just randomly said, "Yeah, I'm David Beckham's cousin." And didn't like, I'm not kidding. They came over and started talking to me right away, and
Yeah.
I thought, "Yeah, that's not true."
And kids,
By the
that's how
way.
you met your mother.
No, that's not it. That's not it, kids. He is lying. That was way before you were even born. But one more.
Leo Messi.
Yes, that's it.
That is the correct answer.
Mhm.
Don't let anybody ever tell
Well,
you any different.
He's all over. I mean,
Don't let anybody tell you any different. He is the man.
okay.
Okay, there's a lot of good ones out there, but he is.
Why? What sets him apart?
Hey, we
Everything.
we got to do a whole podcast on Leo Messi, and and if he comes on here, we'll do a podcast on Leo Messi. Shout out Leo Messi. But,
Where you at?
So okay, boxing
Where's he live?
in Miami. He's playing for Miami FC right now.
Where's he from?
He is from Argentina.
Okay. So,
And
if
he
there's
played
anybody
for-
from Argentina?
He played for Barcelona for a long time,
Okay.
and
So,
that's where kind of he made his name.
if there's anybody from Argentina or Barcelona listening that personally knows
Well,
him,
we got a listener from Spain.
that's true. If you personally know him, that would be awesome.
Oh,
Not for the views or anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah,
at
I'm
all.
sure we can squeeze him in right here.
There's just enough room,
Yeah,
right?
pop up Leo Messi right here. So,
Michael
all right,
Jordan too.
what about boxing?
Oh man, that's a good one. I already know off the top of my head what I want to say.
Okay. Probably
But-
the wrong answer. I think I know what you're gonna say, but let's hear it.
90s, 80s,
I
90s.
think you're gonna say two names, and I think they're both wrong. So go ahead, let me hear it.
Okay, I want to say one.
Okay.
You're probably thinking of Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. That's probably the two you're thinking of.
I'm thinking that you were gonna say Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mike Tyson.
Okay, that's in my mind. I thought he's gonna
I
say
can't
either
help it.
he's gonna say Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather. Is who I thought
Oh
you
no,
were.
Floyd Mayweather. I didn't really watch him very much. After Tyson went out, I didn't really watch as much. Yeah, I watched him, but
Yeah.
I wasn't fascinated.
Yeah.
I was fascinated with Tyson and Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, those guys.
For me, I would say Muhammad Ali, even though he did lose 5 times. It was a different time where you took the risk of fighting the best fighters.
Yes.
A lot of times right now you're trying to protect that zero where it's like, I want to fight a bunch of bums and, plumbers and cab
Yeah.
drivers because I want to protect my, my undefeated record. And these guys were fighting the best of the best at the
Yes.
time. And they'll take a loss any day, but they learn from that experience. And, Ali had great footwork, great power for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
He did the whole rope-a-dope and,
Yeah.
mentality. And, he never, in his career, he never threw a body shot. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, never, not one time. It
I did
was
not know
jabs
that.
and hooks and uppercuts. Never threw a body shot.
I could see him beating Mike Tyson. I remember, I think it was our first episode. Maybe it was our second one where I said I watched that documentary about Ali and George Foreman,
Mhm.
that documentary on them too. He beat George Foreman in his prime,
Right.
like a young, mean,
Yeah.
rough, hammer
Big,
fist
strong
George Foreman.
George Foreman.
Who does that sound like? Mike Tyson. Hammer fist, like one of the hardest hitters of all time.
Yeah.
And just stood in the pocket. But what did Muhammad Ali do? Bounced around, let him get him up against the ropes, let him keep taking him against. What are you doing? He was just taking it and taking it. And they said, there's no way. Well, I'm not saying no way, but they would put George Foreman's power and Mike Tyson's almost in the exact same category. Muhammad Ali, that's all he talked about. And he was able to take it for, I don't remember how many rounds, it's quite a few, over and over. And then he knew he had him because he was gassed. And George Foreman was out of the tank. And then Muhammad Ali came out, boom, that's it, you're done.
You mentioned the CTE from a guy hitting you that
Yes.
hard.
That
and
much.
over and over and over.
Yes.
He's using you as a punching bag, and that's the strategy.
Yes.
Eventually, you can get tired of hitting me in the head or whatever. It's like, but
That's not my cup of tea.
yeah. So let me throw some women out there for our lady listeners. What about women's tennis? You know anything about women?
Yeah, I'm going to think of the obvious two. One in general.
Okay. Woo.
Serena Williams.
Okay.
That's the one.
I don't think
of.
that's
I
the
saw
wrong.
the
I don't think
movie
that's a
with,
wrong answer.
Will Smith,
Yeah.
the movie about that. So it kind of makes me biased because I haven't really watched movies on any other
Yeah.
tennis players, but that's amazing. So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that something like tennis, super random. I don't sit around and watch women's
Right.
tennis, but
Right.
you hear of all the accolades, and if you pull up her name, she's got a laundry list of
yes,
things she's accomplished. But then you have names like Steffi Graf, and
Mhm.
I don't know, for some odd reason, my wife knows a lot about women's tennis, and it's
does
just
she
kind of
play
odd.
tennis?
I don't know,
Little?
a little bit maybe. I don't know.
She's like secret pro.
No, we kind of pickleball.
Okay,
but
does she show off?
No, we're very average. I say we're very.
So
average.
she doesn't beat you. She doesn't actually beat you all the time. Like she
No.
just
We
destroys
usually
you.
play with the kids and their either spouses or the boyfriends or whatever. That come over when we have a big. and
Okay, I got
Usually
you.
the younger kids win just because I my body in my mind I feel like I can still get there, but my
Yes.
body's not really reacting to
I got you.
So, okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that's kind of what the whole reason we're talking about the Super Bowl, the sports, is because we want to talk about the importance of faith in sports because we have a lot of players out there that people look up to. They criticized Charles Barkley back in the day about him doing a lot of bad things, and he said, he's like, well, you're a role model, and his famous quote was like, I'm not a role model. I'm not paid to be a role model.
That's right. Yeah.
And so he said, it's like if you're telling your kids to follow my lead, he said that's on you for the parents. They're supposed to follow your lead, not mine.
Right.
I don't know them; they don't know me. So, but unfortunately, like now there's such a following of
Oh
like
yeah.
blind sheep of whatever this athlete's doing or this rapper or this entertainer or whatever, do what they're doing, you know?
Yes.
And so, and then you have a select few that do get up there, and when they have a mic put on their face, it's like, first and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that because you have kids listening and watching
Yeah.
that say, okay, it is okay. I don't have to be ashamed of, you know, my beliefs. And but the flip side of that is you can see somebody like that, high profile athlete, thank his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and then you see their story on Instagram, and it's like they're drunk at a club with a bunch of women around them and
Yes.
stuff, and it's like, is that a line of coke on the table? You know, and it's
Right.
like, you know, it's like, wait a minute. So, you know, it's what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know,
I got you.
and you're saying one thing, but your actions
Yeah.
are the exact opposite, you know, of what you're professing.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to talk about it a little bit as to the importance of that, you know, how we should look different if we're participating in sports, if we're cheering sports on or whatever, how we should act. People should be able to tell
Yeah.
the difference between, it's like, oh, look, those kids are over there acting up or cussing the ref or doing this and whatever. And you have other kids that are, look, like it's a great teammate. He helped this guy up, and it's not even his teammate. He congratulated the team. Like little things like that set you
Yeah.
apart. And you're like, man, like that kid was raised right. And sometimes you look at kids or whatever, and you're like, man, that's, I don't know, that's a well-mannered, you know, just good kid.
Yeah. There's something about that. There's a humility to them that's not natural for most
Yeah.
people. Just being humble. You know, C.J. Stroud. That's why he's a younger quarterback for the Texans. I like him, and I'm a youth pastor, in case anybody didn't know, and a lot of my students, especially the guys, they're always talking about him. You know, C.J. Stroud, you know, he immediately, first thing comes out of his mouth, thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And then he goes throughout the rest of the interview. And there's I feel like, and I could be wrong, there's more of that now than there's ever been about him just coming out and just saying it right out
There
front.
is, yeah. I've noticed that too. Even I watch a lot of UFC stuff.
Yes.
And even the fighters there do it.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I love that. But like you said, are they doing it and living it outside of when they're in the interview? Him, I haven't seen it yet. Like, I haven't seen him do anything bad. And on the sideline, you can tell if they're cussing or not. I mean, anybody can read lips. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that he just wasn't acting like a Christian. I'm not throwing stones. I'm not even the first guy to say something about that.
Yeah.
But another Mahomes thing. Here we go. And it's good. He goes, all glory be to God. I've heard him when he's in his interviews. But I heard it was a thing, you know, how at the end of the game, the quarterbacks go up, they'll give each other a hug, and they'll talk to each other. Well, when they lost to the Bills, he was dropping the F-bomb and saying, I'm not going to say it, but he was saying, he used that word several times.
Mahomes or he?
Mahomes was saying that. And Josh Allen, the other quarterback, he just was cool about it. What it was showing the difference between when Josh Allen doesn't get his calls his way and I'm pretty sure he cussed too, I don't know, but Mahomes, I know he does because I heard it, and I'm not going to play it, but you can find it for yourselves, a little exchange they had. And he was saying that that's blanking wrong, the blanking ref, or he was offsides, the blanking ref knew it, you knew it, but the blanking I'm saying is the F word.
Yeah.
And it was very clear, loud as day, you could understand it perfectly. You know it's him, it's not AI, and his lips are saying what's coming out of his mouth. And I thought he was that, like C.J. Stroud. I really did. I thought, I haven't seen him. Yeah, he's getting a little cocky, whatever. I would be too, I guess, if I made that much money and I won that many Super Bowls. But to see him do that, I thought, if my boy's seen that interview, what are they going to think? Oh, well, I guess that just NFL players that way. If he does it, then they probably all do it. Then I could probably, you know, it's
if he does,
right.
I'm sure it's okay.
It doesn't look as bad. And then they think it's okay. It's justified. I mean, yeah, he's just a normal guy like me, I guess, and that shouldn't be acceptable. As I don't know.
You know, you brought up C.J. Stroud, and I did see sometimes they'll show him on the sideline, and he'll be praying or something. And,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I know we can all put on a show if we wanted to, right? There's cameras rolling. One camera's bound to be on you if there's that many cameras. So, you know, I could fake it if I wanted to. But
yeah.
I know I was listening to an interview he did, and he said that he had been convicted because he had been on a podcast where he
was on a podcast. Come on, CJ.
Yeah. So
right here.
So he was on a podcast and he had used profanity, and he said he was convicted about it, and he's like, I say this and profess that, and he said when I left, I realized as a child of God, I cannot be talking like that.
Yeah.
And so you realize that you should have an extensive enough vocabulary to not be able to use.
Yeah.
Because once you start using them, it becomes such a regular part of your vocabulary, right?
Yes.
You just drop these.
Absolutely.
And it makes you sound unintelligent.
It does. Amanda, we was talking about that, I guess 3 or 4 days ago. You can't watch hardly anything on Netflix now.
Oh, I know.
It's so bad. And she said,
Disney stuff too.
Yeah, it'll be PG-13. The F word's in it. That's crazy. And she said, did they not know how ignorant that makes them sound? And it'll be even a documentary where it's not a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be like multi-billionaire guys. Yeah. And they said, and she was saying, I can't believe somebody that high up that has, they're very smart people.
Yeah.
And it's every other breath is something just awful. And that's just how they speak. And I thought, how bad is it when they're away from the interview, when they're away from the cameras?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem very intelligent when it's like you don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
You don't have another word you could put in right there?
So let me bring us some scripture of what the word says. In Matthew 5:14-16, it says that we're called to be the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So let me read that real quick. 14 says, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven.
Mm.
So, and that's the thing, right? Like when we're out, especially like in sports, right? You're out on the court, you're out on the field, all eyes on me type thing, right? So if I'm throwing a cuss fit, I take my helmet off and slam it on the ground or whatever, or walk up and get in the ref's face, and it was like that wasn't a foul or whatever, and start cussing. Like, so you realize immediately, like, everybody's watching you. Yeah. That's now, we're called to be a light. So especially if you're like a Christian, kid, if that's one of your students here at church, right? Mm-hmm. And then you say, hey, like, I'm gonna go watch the kids play, they have a game or whatever, and then you see that behavior, then you frown upon it, right? Like, you're like, wait, like that's not.
They know better.
Yeah. Why are you doing? Are you putting on a show for the rest of them? Are you trying to impress somebody? Is that how you really are? You just.
That's it. I thought about that. You said, who are you? Which one?
Yeah. So let's see. Also, Titus. Let me read something about what Titus says. It says, Titus says, similarly, encourage young men to be self-controlled in everything. Set them an example by doing what is good. That's Titus 2:6-7. Similarly, encourage young men to be self-controlled in everything. Set them an example by doing what is good. And that's also on parents also, right? Is if I'm a sore loser and my kids, man, there's people that even if they don't play a sport, they see dad throwing a fit because at the TV or whatever, breaking, and you see these videos and stuff. So a child sees that is like, oh, that must be normal behavior. That's how we act when we lose, right? So they go out on and participate in sports, and they start trying to pick fights. They start whatever it takes to win. Might try to even hurt somebody. It's like whatever it takes, we have to win, and that's on us. Like Titus says, we must encourage young men to be self-controlled. We have to encourage that in them, and call them out when we're not behaving in such a way, because a lot of times because all three of my kids played sports, multiple sports. So we saw it all the time. We saw it all the time with bad behavior. And sometimes like, who's the parent of this kid? Or who the parent is, like, they're not gonna say anything.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, it kind of disappoints you because you're like, no wonder they act the way they act.
Yes. It's a reflection of values. It's like however and it's true. Sometimes you can. I've been to games before, and I kid you not. I mean, growing up, I played every sport you could play, and either being on the sideline or just watching games. If you can see how a kid on the court or the football field is acting, and you know what I'm talking about, like you're like, oh, they're going to kick him out. They're about to tee him up. 9 times out of 10, you can look in the stands and pick out his parent or her parent.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Tell me. Go ahead.
We saw it in soccer bad. It was terrible. We'd play certain towns where, I'm not gonna say it, but certain towns that we played that thought they were.
Come on.
Maybe, I don't know. They just thought they were head and shoulders above everybody else, you know, in every way, you know, not just on the field. And shout out to Queen Leopards. They come in there and they, no matter what your class was, we were gonna come in and, you know, take your women and children and your you know. But anyways, so when we played these towns, you would see like certain parents like stand up and yell like
yes
at the referee, and it's like, you know, and it's like that number and the number on her t-shirt match, you know. It's like, and you know, so you see the behavior, and it's like, okay, I get it now. I get why that kid is acting that way, because look at mom and dad up there.
Absolutely. And that, I think we need to take that in consideration as parents who are raising kids in sports and any kind of event, really, where that's how much they watch you. They feed off of that energy. I reffed a game back. It's my first year when I was being a youth minister. Yeah, trust me, I'll never do it again. That's why I said once. And I told them I wasn't going to do it again, and they thought I was joking. To this day, I still haven't done it. The refs in high school do not get paid near enough money for what they do.
You ref the high school game?
No.
Oh.
But it was high school kids, and it wasn't a legit game. So we did this thing. It was a 3-on-3 tournament.
So you were in basketball shorts and you went to Walmart and bought a whistle?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So, and that, I wish I'd have been an official ref, because maybe that wouldn't have caught as much as I did.
Yeah, he's like, you're not even an official loser.
right. I know, right? So we did this 3-on-3 tournament, and it was for raising awareness about our first D now we was going to have here. And it's just to get the word out and try to get kids involved. So we did a 3-on-3 tournament, 6th through 12th grade. And we did it by age bracket. So that way you don't have a 12th grade guy dunking on a 6th grade girl. It's just that way it's good. So I had separate trophies for each class or each age range. And I get in there, and of course, I had a couple guys that volunteered to be the boys ref. And I was like, all right, well, I'll ref the girls game. And then about half of the first game through, I thought that's why they volunteered automatically for the boys game. Boys over there, they didn't even do anything. They were watching them and like high-fiving and hitting claps like, y'all ain't even reffing. Because boys, they called their own fouls, and they'd get rough, and it really didn't get out of hand too much. They kind of settled their own thing. Girls game, oh my goodness. That was rough. And some of these girls were on the D-Queen. Both of them were on D-Queen teams. We had different other schools there.
Yeah.
And then the parents, here's where it gets into it. The other schools that were there, I'm not from D-Queen school, some of them, but anyways, it was like that. Okay. Here, I'll put it this way.
Okay. You seem very agitated and excited here. What's going on?
I felt my anxiety rising.
Yeah.
And when that happens, military mode kicks in.
Yeah, I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah, okay. And I thought, I got to squash this. I don't know how. So everybody come in here. I got all the girls. I just stopped at mid-game. The girls that ain't playing, come here. Everybody. I want all the girls there. I almost said all the parents need to come down here too, but I didn't. I thought, and I said,
everybody do push-ups, didn't you?
No. I said, this is not for money. Y'all aren't playing for a conference game. This is just to have fun. And if you guys can't have fun, then whoever starts the yelling and pushing again, you're just not going to be able to play anymore, because that's not why we're here. We're here to actually promote our D now. And I told them all before we even started what it was for. And as soon as they started playing, that went out the window. So I had to remind them of why we're playing. And then so they started, and the girls were doing better. The girls did better. Like the opposing teams actually would high five each other and like, that's okay. And you could feel the encouragement. Like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be like. I kid you not. 10 seconds after they were doing their good stuff, one of the moms stood up and goes, you shouldn't be letting her do that to you. And then I see it in that girl's eyes, and then it started again. Then the fighting and it started all over again. I thought, you got to be kidding me. Yeah. The parents stirred that up in them, because it was almost squashed between them. And then the parents kept it going, and I could feel it coming back. And I thought, oh, Lord, please help me. So I just made it through. I just was cool, smiled. And then the girls, when they get fouled and look up at me like waiting for a call, I would just smile and just throw the ball back to the other person. And, oh, my goodness, I said, I'll never.
Mid-game, did you know you would never do that again?
Yeah, oh, I knew, man, I knew, yes. And there was many games that day. We were there for hours. So by the end, I asked one of our deacons from the church that he had reffed basketball. He coached high school basketball in Oklahoma. And I knew he had done those things, and he could see it. He knew. And I looked at it, and he came over there, and I said, will you please ref this last game? Because that's a championship game. Yeah. And he was for real. Like, he laid down the law. I gave him a whistle that hadn't been used because I wouldn't have mine. I wouldn't have mine. He did awesome. I mean, it's weird. Like, his authority, I guess it's just the way he was. The parents were calm, the players, and he called it right down the middle. It was good. And I was over there just going, oh, thank you, Lord, that he's here. I didn't know
because you were younger. Maybe it was. You think it's a age thing?
Maybe I don't know. I think if it's just the way he carried himself. I don't know. It's just I don't know. You just knew it's like, oh, this guy's done this before. You know, like he's not. He's good.
You know, if you saw the game was a few seconds left and it's tied, we're not fixing to go to overtime. I'm done with this game. Foul. You know, like you blow the whistle. It's like get free throws. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like if she don't make it, you like when they go over the with that lane violation or whatever, it's like, no, you're gonna get a bunch of free throws till somebody makes it. This game's over with.
Well, and here's the conundrum I'm in during this whole time. I'm there to have fun with the kids, I get to know them, they get to know me, a good atmosphere.
They didn't get that memo though.
And no, they did not. So it's like I gotta like smile and be this cool guy, and the other part of me has to do this job. And I couldn't dance the line between the two. So refs in an actual high school game, they're not their friends. You know, like you did it, foul, you're going to the line. The other's, what? And I was like, oh, you do that again, you're teed up and I'm kicking you out. Okay. And they settle down. Youth pastor, there for fun, invite them to a D. Now, you can't do that. You got to try to please both sides.
I can picture a little girl around and the mom's like, Mom, they're crying, they're in tears. Who? The ref. The ref's in tears? It's crying.
That was me.
Yeah,
that was me.
He's in the fetal position.
Have you ever had the nervous sweats? It wasn't even. It was kind of hot. It was like probably I think around May.
That is crazy, sir.
I was so hot. I was sweating.
Young teenage girls had you all.
Yeah, it wasn't them. It was the parents and them. It was both. Because I was just trying to do a good job and be the light and try to be this loving.
Y'all gonna make the old Jared come out.
Brand new youth pastor, and yes, old Jared just kept it's like the Hulk. Oh man,
y'all lucky I know Jesus.
But yeah, there you go. There's a story for you.
So, always being a Christian, you should be able to set yourself apart. Like we said, we should be able to look at you and say, okay, like that's that kid, whoever is carrying themselves, it could be whatever, a college athlete, whatever, is carrying themselves just completely different than everybody else. So, but then you have, when they go back into the locker room, right? Like you have some teammates that may be passing around a video they shouldn't be looking at, pictures, maybe, blaring music, and hey, after we're going to go to the after party, you want to go, it's going to be, plenty of alcohol, plenty of weed, plenty of...
And that's happening still today.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure, that happens. And it's not just college or NBA. I mean, it happens in high school locker rooms. And, it just seems like it pushes the age limit and the boundaries every year a little bit more, because I'm sure there's a lot of that going on in junior high locker rooms. They can't drive themselves anywhere, but I'm sure there's alcohol readily available to them, and access probably to drugs and stuff, you know. So as a Christian, I can say, okay, you know what? It's like, oh, check out this video. Nah, I'm good, man. Thanks. Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, you want to go to after party? No, I already got plans.
Yeah.
And just because you're teammates out on the court doesn't mean you have to partake in everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
Set yourself aside and apart from everybody else and say, okay, you know what? To the point where it's like, I'm not going to ask so-and-so because I respect his stance.
Yeah.
He's never wavered, he or she. And I know what they believe, and I respect. And usually, high school kids are pretty brutal as far as with the peer pressure.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a big one for young kids and stuff. It's like the peer pressure. They start making fun of you or whatever. But stand firm on what you believe, and I promise you, everything's going to be fine. We've all been through it. I started going to church when I was a teenager. So it was hard for me because that was the age where everybody, all my friends, were drinking, partying, doing
Yeah.
this, and inviting. And why aren't you going? Why are you going to church on this weekend? Are you going to a church event? Well, you're a teenager. Like, live life, have fun. It's like, I am enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to. Whatever.
And
And
that's what's sad. They feel like they have to do that stuff to have
Yeah.
fun. I was that guy back in my early 20s.
yeah,
It's like you had to do bad things to have a good time. And that's not the case. I was talking to one of my family members the other day, and I was reflecting on back when I was in the military. And there was I was on leave, and me and one of my best friends, I'm not going to say his name. I don't know if he wants me to or not. I don't think he would care, but I'm not going to say it. We were on post-deployment leave. It was me, him, my brother, and my brother's college roommate. And we were at in California at Six Flags there. We didn't do anything bad for 4 or 5 days. No drinking, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that's the best time I'd had in years. And we got the fast pass. We were doing every big roller coaster, like way too many times, probably good for your brain. We got in the hotel that night. We went to sleep, and I could feel my body doing backflips from being on roller coasters all day. But we didn't do anything bad. There was no after party or anything like that because we needed to get up early the next day to make it to the place we wanted to go to next. And so we didn't want to feel bad and all this other stuff. It wasn't for righteous reasons. But I look back on it, and I think that was some of the best times I'd ever had. So you don't have to do those things.
There's people that'll tell you, well, I just need a little alcohol in me to kind of let loose and have fun.
Right.
In my mind, I'm thinking, is your personality that dull and that boring where you feel like people don't like you for who you really are? You have to be somebody else.
Right.
And in order to do that, you have to be, drunk or whatever.
Right. I know some people, they think they do that to be themselves. Because when they're around a lot of people, we're like this. Instead of being themselves, they feel like that loosens them up where they can actually be themselves and not be the weird guy or the weird girl.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. You might feel that way at first, but eventually you're going to come out of your shell. And
if there's something that I'm pretty reserved, pretty quiet. Yeah, I'm not very loud. I don't go anywhere and cause a scene. I'm just pretty chill, but man, when we go on vacations and you turn on some music and I'm out there on the beach or whatever, man, it's just something about, I don't know. It gets me going, and I'm like, that's it, and I don't know. And that's the closest I can in my mind try to understand, I guess, if I were, but I don't know. At the same time, I don't want to understand it because that reasoning doesn't. It's like you're trying to be somebody else, or that's who you really are. And anyways, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But let me read Proverbs 4:23 through 26, because we're talking about like being able to, like, in a locker room, if you're offered different things or different things going around. So Proverbs says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths of your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways.
That's good.
So if, doesn't matter what age you are, if you feel like they're on me all the time, who cares what they say, what they think, what they believe? You're not trying to impress them. And that's, I think, a lot of us get caught up in trying to please others and trying to impress people we don't even know.
Yes.
And we're looking for, some people desperately look for, and you see it on Instagram posts how, whatever, they do all kinds of stuff, even vanity, as far as like they have all these surgeries and injections and everything, because it's vanity, right? Like you're trying to impress others, people you don't even know.
Yeah.
And for what? And that's, I don't get it, because you're trying to get the approval of a world which is the same world that crucified a perfect man. I heard that the other day.
That's good.
It's like, why are we looking for validation from this lost world? Just remember, this is the same world that crucified a perfect man. So it doesn't matter what they think, what they believe. You stand on what you believe in your faith. And it's in scripture. Guard your heart, guard your lips from perverse talk, your eyes, and it says, give careful thought to the paths of your feet. Think about what you're going to do before you do it. Don't just, I wasn't thinking. How many times you hear that, like, especially from a young person, it's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. It just happened. It's like, it just happened.
I've heard that several times.
Yeah. So process the thoughts, right? We
Mhm.
have a brain. We are not animals. So
Yeah.
communicate, think about what you're going to do before you do it. So anyway, I really,
On that, what you're saying, you're talking about people's hearts and guarding your mouth, guarding your heart. In Matthew, it talks about Jesus was talking about it's not what comes out of a person that defiles them, what goes in.
Right.
Other way around. Not what goes in, but what comes out. So he says in Matthew 15:10, I'm glad I just happen to have this on here. It says, but the things that come out of a person's mouth come from the heart. So, and these defile them. So, I mean, you can tell a lot about what's on somebody's heart by what comes out of their mouth.
I agree. And let's talk about if you're playing sports, right? And you think, well, I'm not performing at a peak level, but what are your vices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you drinking, smoking, vaping, weed, whatever, right? So, and like Jared said, if that's what I'm intaking, my body physically will not perform to its best level because we are putting a bunch of stuff shouldn't be in there anyways.
Right.
And then to roll out of bed and say, I got a game today, and it's like you're stumbling around, and it's like, what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah.
And but anyway, so you can't.
Guess he ain't winning today.
Yeah, and so just be careful of what you put. Like one thing we had spoken about LeBron, and I said something about his longevity, and it is because it's reported that he spends $1.5 million on his health, his wellness, his nutrition, recovery. So, yeah, I mean, you take care of yourself. He's getting the most out of his body, right? He has a certain window to be a elite athlete, professional, which very few people get to be.
Yeah.
And he's extended that by taking care of himself. So people that were drafted, and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony, they were all drafted the same year, but they've been retired for years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And here's LeBron, and I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm not, but I'm just amazed at how how he's 40 years old and he's playing at such a high level. That's impressive to me because at my age, I sneeze and it's like, oh, my back, or like I roll out of bed and it's like, oh, the knees.
Yes.
What was that? It's like, that's my knees. Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, so just what you put in your body, so, and if you want to flip that spiritually, how can I be a better Christian? It's what you're intaking, right? Read the word, pray, fast. There's lots of things you can do where you can say, well, I am performing at peak level as a Christian because of what I'm intaking. So always remember that what you're gonna get out what you put in out of things. So be smart about it. Just like I said, don't go with the flow with what the world is doing because they're gonna lead you astray every time.
Yeah. I seen a thing where LeBron James, I don't know if it was in game or if it was just a all-star game. I don't know. It was last year when it happened. And it was just one of those things on Facebook where I was going through there and I seen a play. I'm telling you, for him to be 40 or right at 40.
He's 40, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be 40 in a couple months. So here's where I'm going. When you said that, when you sneeze, your back hurts, or you get up too fast and something goes out. And I know people that are 60, 70, that they heard this, if you are listening, you're laughing like, just wait.
Yeah.
You don't even know yet. But I am starting that process. Like, stuff is hurting now. But when I seen him, there was a guy, and he threw it off the backboard, and he was wide open. I thought somebody's coming in behind him to dunk it. It was LeBron James, and his hand was so high up, and he grabbed it, coming at it, went between the legs, windmilled it with his left hand as he's going by, and he just looked like a monster going through the air. And I thought, dude's almost 40, if not 40. Even if I was his size, I couldn't do that because I would be hurting so bad. Yes, absolutely impressive. And I thought about the difference between me and him. Well, obviously his size, but I'm talking about, we're talking about taking care of our body. All right. Okay, let's just do this then. I'm the same size, build that he is. But like you said, Dwayne Wade and all them, Carmelo Anthony, those guys. If that was me, but instead of being in the NBA, but I have the same athletic gifts that they have, but I do what I do now, and I just eat junk, and I don't really work out much. I know I should. There's no way on earth I'm doing what LeBron James is doing right now.
And it speaks to you can have all the potential and talent in the world, but to your discipline and your work ethic, right? So if you're not putting in the time, if you're not disciplined enough to eat a certain way, it's like, okay, you know what? It's the off season, so I'm going to down a double bacon cheeseburger.
And that's the peak of the peak. He's already a specimen.
He's the pinnacle, right?
But then again, like you said, on the other side of the coin, he also takes care of himself at a professional level. So it's just everything culminated. Now, is he a crybaby? Yes. But is he gifted? Absolutely. Does he take care of himself?
I'm
Absolutely.
starting to think that you're not a LeBron fan. I'm not.
I'm
kind of
really glad you're picking up on that. So
let's take, for example, if you don't play sports, but you go to the gym and you lift weights. So the way you build muscle is you stretch and you contract muscles through resistance training, right? Like it's resistance to weight. So you cause these small tears in your muscles, right? So what they do is when you're asleep, proper, recovery, when they start to build back up, they come back bigger and stronger, right? So there's 3 main things that I feel like happen when you go through weight training and you want to build that muscle that happens with your body. So in order for it to come back bigger and stronger, okay, we need rest, right? The body heals itself when we're asleep. Facts.
Yeah.
It's just, get plenty of sleep. We need lots of water. Our body is made up mostly of water. And 3, proper nutrition. Eat clean, eat enough, and supplements also help. So that's physically, we want to build muscle. Spiritually, it's very similar, very, very, very similar.
Yeah.
So just like we need rest because our body needs recovery to build the muscle, spiritually, we need rest. And Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So we need water. Spiritually, we need water just like we do physically. In John 4:14, it says, "But those who drink of the water I give, they will never thirst again." 2. So now let's go to the third one. We need the proper nutrition, proper food physically. So spiritually as well. John 6:35 says, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry again." So we see the correlation between physically and the spiritual, how God made us, we need to feed both of them to be at peak.
Yes.
To be the very best version of ourselves, we need to make sure we are eating, drinking, and resting.
Yeah. What are you fueling yourself with?
Right.
Yeah.
And that matters. That's very important. So if you don't, okay, I'm not saying that if you don't do those 3 things, you won't be able to go out there and perform at all. But you may say, okay, what's the difference between we have the same potential, we do the same drills, we blah, 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 everything. We go to the same camps off season, but look at the differences. Not what you're doing the same, but what are you guys doing different?
Right, yeah.
And it's like, well, I do go out and party and I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Well, he's eating a salad and he's going to bed at the proper time, drinking lots of water and taking care of himself. And he's not, okay, so it's while you're out partying, he's resting, he's recovering, he's taking care of his body the same way, right? Like where you're out partying, getting drunk, vaping, smoking weed, whatever, he's in scripture, he's reading his Bible, he's, ministering to other people, he's helping, donating his time to whatever. And it's like he's growing at a rapid rate and a faster rate physically and spiritually.
Yeah. It's almost like a plant growing. What goes into the plant, the nutrients, the amount of water it's getting, is how strong and how tall and how big it's going to get. And there's something over here that's just not getting that.
Right.
They're the same. They could be the exact same seed, but the one that's planted firmer and it's nourished is the one that's going to grow the strongest.
So, and it's just because, like I said, going through sports, I think my youngest daughter started playing soccer when she was 4. So we went all the way through high school.
Wow.
And the oldest, she went, did cross country at college. So we've had our fair share of sports and traveling, and to the point where you're like, when everybody's done, it's like people are like, "Do you miss it?" And I'm like, I do at times.
In a way,
I do at times because it was such a part of our lives for such a long time. But I don't miss the having to get off of work after, 12, 13, 14 hours and drive into another town, right? Like with coffee and it's like double shot of espresso in there or
Windows
whatever.
down, freezing cold.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
stay
stick
awake.
your head out the window. And it's like,
I've been there,
So anyway, and that's probably the picture Facebook will pick, like it picks a picture of, anyway. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so do I miss it? Yes, I do. At this point, I miss certain sports. I loved dressing up my daughter, the little one.
Mm-hmm.
She, her little soccer uniform all the way, seeing her lose in the state tournament at her senior year, which was heartbreaking.
Right.
They had so much potential, that team did, and anyway, it didn't happen for them. So they got far. They were very talented, and I was very proud of her. But to see her walk off with that uniform, and I knew, because she had probably gone and played probably soccer at a college level. Yes, I do honestly believe in my heart of hearts, and that's not just me, like the dad talking.
Yeah.
It's she had the talent to do so, and she even could have walked on to like I feel like the school where she's at is a Division I school, and I feel like, honestly, if you, I don't know, held my feet to the fire and put me on a lie detector or whatever and said, do you think she's talented enough to make this team? Yes, she can walk on and make that team.
Right.
And so anyway, but
have you been talking to her about that?
Yeah, she's done. She's done with it. Yeah.
Okay.
She loves it, but I think it's just recreational for her now.
Yeah.
It's like
16 years was enough.
Yeah, I think for her, it's the reason why I would remind her when she was stressed out about playing sports, and it's like, oh, it's a big game. It's a big game. I said, just remember why you started playing sports.
Yeah.
And she said, it's because it was fun.
Yeah.
I said, go out there and have fun. I said, do your best, go out there and have fun. That's all I'm asking you to do. I said, give it your best. I said, anything less than that, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating your teammates.
Yes.
Everybody, like your parents, we drove here. We put all this time and money into like, as far as whatever, cleats, this and that. I said, just don't cheat anybody.
Yeah.
Don't cheat yourself. Give it all you got. So it was a reminder. That's why we all start this, pick up a basketball in the backyard and throw the shot up. And like we said last week, right? Count the 3, 2, 1 and, for the championship.
Absolutely.
And it's fun.
You're setting yourself up for a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, of a lifetime. Like when she made that shot, you see it just go off to the corner side of the goal. Boom.
And I could count
champs
on 2 or 3 fingers how many times I probably got loud as far as, well, she might disagree. Wait a minute. Let me take that back.
You were that parent that 9 out of 10, weren't you?
No. Her senior year, I was very vocal in soccer because it was her last year, and I was like pushing her. It's like, no, you this is it. You have to. You finish strong. Give it all you got. So, but you take from 11th back, her junior year back. Man, honestly, like she'd do something, I just sit there and clap. My wife would,
clap?
My wife would stand up and and like I'd be like, he's like, I'm proud.
Yeah,
I'm just as proud as she is. I just wasn't as loud. And I'll tell you something funny that happened to me.
And then I'll tell you something funny.
Okay. So we were in Fort Smith at a soccer tournament. And like I said, I never say anything. They fouled us. They were over there. It was just like they mugged us. And I was like, man, what is going on?
That's not good.
Yeah. So we fouled them back. Not as hard. In my opinion, it wasn't as hard. Well, the ref runs by and I said, hey, ref. I said, these calls got to go both ways.
Yeah.
Literally, I promise you, ask my wife, she was sitting there next to me. That's what I said. No profanity. I wasn't, no. loud enough to where he could hear me. I wasn't like
Yeah.
yelling at him like with anger or nothing. It's like, hey, ref, these calls have to go both ways. He stops dead in his tracks. He comes back to me.
No way.
And he's like, next word out of you. He said, I'm throwing you out of this tournament. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I never say anything. I said, there's people hollering this whole tournament.
Yeah.
They've been screaming, hollering, cussing them and everything.
Yeah.
Threatening them to do all kinds of stuff. I say, hey, ref, can we get a call? Same, you know,
Right.
and I'm getting.
Hey, mister, can we have a call, please? Go our
and
way.
You want
Get
out of here? Call the cops on you. I was
Wow.
like, what is going on?
Did you
here?
say anything else?
No,
Good job.
yeah, I was quiet there, and because I wanted to see my
Yeah,
daughter
that's
play.
just
and
it.
it's like,
You want to see them
yeah,
play.
yeah. I just drove 2.5 hours to get there. So, but I just, I was like, that's the thing, and this is to the parents also, because we were talking about, which kids belong to who.
Yes.
But go ahead and tell your story. I'm sorry, you wanted.
Oh,
you
you're
want-
good. I was
No,
just
go
going to do Jared's joke of the day. It's going to take. So
Okay,
you go
let
ahead.
me
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
this point because it all kind of goes together, and then we'll go back.
Uh-huh.
So, the parents, like what we talked about, we can tell what kid belongs to what parent by the way the
Yes.
parents are acting. So you hear that, right? Like you going to these games, you'd be like, whoa! Like you hear like people behind
Yeah.
you, like the obscenities and profanity and stuff being used, and you turn around
Even
and
you-
it surprises you who it is, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, is that Deacon Johnny? What in the world? It's like I didn't even know
Oh.
that word. What I have to look it up in the
I don't
Urban
know that
Dictionary.
word.
Like,
What
yeah,
is that?
like slang. What does
Some
that
of
mean?
it's funny. I've heard some stuff where I try not to laugh. I'm sitting there.
some is
and
creative,
It's
yeah.
so creative. I'm like, don't laugh, Jared. Don't laugh.
Yeah, and so it sometimes it does surprise me.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's funny at first, but then you're like, if they're Christian and there's people that are non-believers there, they're
Yeah.
like, look at them, they're acting worse than we are,
Yes.
but yet they're telling us we should be
And if
humble.
they're a
and meek.
Christian, I'm a Christian.
Yeah,
Right?
It's like,
Well, it makes me think of when you were talking about that's the parent definitely. Oh, they're wearing the same number.
Yeah.
You can look up and kind of tell who belongs to who by how they're reacting. And I thought that's good as far as like from a Christian perspective, who we belong to by how we act. So
Right.
can you tell that, am I wearing Jesus's jersey? Can you tell, do we match up?
Yeah.
Or do I look like the enemy? Are we matching up by what I'm doing? See what I'm
Good
saying?
point.
Like
Yeah,
that. I
good
don't know.
point. Yeah.
When you were talking about that kind of went into my mind as you were speaking. I thought, that's it. Like, do we
Yeah.
reflect if
Yeah.
Jesus is up in the stands? Is that what I'm reflecting?
You team horns or team halo, huh?
That's good. Hold on, which one is it? Hold on, is it this one? Yeah. I think. I don't know. We'll find out. So, are you ready?
Yeah, keep the laughs going. Let's go.
These jokes. I'm not going to let you see the answers. That's why I'm turning this away.
Okay.
So
Trivia.
they're for you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna mix
hear
it
it.
up a little bit. So
Knock
here we
'em
go. Here's Jared's jokes, plural, of the day. So, what is harder to catch the faster you run?
Yeah, in the interest of time, I don't know.
Your breath. Oh, hard to
Yeah.
catch the harder you run. Anyways, okay, next one.
You feel so dumb. Like when you hear the answer, it's
It
like
is.
it's
It's-
obvious, right? So
Yeah. So, why did the golfer wear two pair of pants? You're going to feel the same way after this one.
why did the golfer wear two pair of pants?
Yeah. You want me to go ahead?
Comment down below if you know the answer.
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
In case he got a hole in one. Oh.
So yeah,
Wow. One more.
I'm feeling
I'll do
dumber
two
by
more.
the minute.
I'll do two more. Or do you want to do basketball jokes? Let's do
I
basketball
don't
jokes.
know, whatever you got.
Okay. Why did the basketball player bring his suitcase to the game? I love this one because it fits the NBA today perfectly. And you'll know why when I say the answer.
What did he bring the suitcase to the game?
Why did the basketball player bring his suitcase to the game?
No idea.
Because he traveled a lot. Oh,
Yeah, they don't even call that
there
anymore.
it
That's
is.
not even.
That's what I'm
no,
saying.
that's terrible.
So, don't even get me started. And I showed my dad that the other day. I
You
was
know who
showing him.
travels a lot?
Huh?
You know who travels a lot?
Who?
Like NBA wise, like LeBron James.
Oh, it's bad. That's what I was showing him a clip. I'm not making this up. It was at least a step in front of the half court line, never dribbled again, and he dunked it. You can't take that many steps. It was like 4 or 5, literally.
And you got to get the hate out of your heart, man. Like what the?
You brought him up, man, not me. But anyways, yeah, you're saying because I showed my dad. But he was just saying he doesn't really watch the NBA. And I said, you really wouldn't if you see how bad they travel. And he goes, how bad is it? And I put traveling the NBA. It was one of the first clips on there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking for him.
Yeah.
He was just on there. So 2 more. So we'll do one more basketball joke, then we'll do a baseball joke. Here we go. Why are basketball players messy eaters? So why are basketball players messy eaters? Because they're always dribbling. So stupid.
Why? Okay. Why are basketball players?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're always dribbling. That was stupid. I get it. So that was one of these. Okay, bad. Baseball joke. Here we go.
That might not even make the cut. That was so bad.
All right, so here we go. This is so stupid. I shouldn't even ask it, but I'm going to.
Okay, let's hear it.
How is a baseball team similar to a pancake?
A baseball team.
Yes.
Switching up sports.
Yes. Switching up sports. How is a baseball team similar to a pancake? They both need good batter. That's so stupid. I almost didn't say it, but I thought that's a dad joke. It's really good. All right.
I'm sure there's, if somebody's listening in the car, like two people, right? Someone's driving, they just looked at each other, right? And they're probably thinking, that is so corny.
It's so bad.
Don't turn us off, please.
Yeah, please don't turn us off.
It's going up from here, I promise you.
Yes.
We hit a lull. we hit a dip, but give us a chance.
This is the one. This is the redeeming joke. Last one, seriously. We've been talking about football.
Don't cancel
Super
us.
Bowl's coming up.
We might get canceled, not for profanity or anything, just for bad jokes.
No, don't unsubscribe us for this one. But I got to end it on a football joke. Super Bowl. Here we go. What did the coach say to the broken vending machine? Football joke. What did the coach say to the broken vending machine?
Tell us.
I want my quarterback. Yes. That was a good one to end it on. All right. I'm not going to say anymore. There's seriously like 30 more.
Yeah, I'm going to say it.
We don't have time for it. I'm surprised you didn't get, quarterback.
Mom said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, son.
So you're not going to talk the rest of the episode. All right. I guess I'll have to carry us.
A little rough patch, guys. So no, he tried.
I tried.
His heart was in the good place.
I was trying to think of sports jokes.
First couple ones were pretty good. Then the last maybe 2-3 were a little
went dad joke.
Yeah,
cringe.
Yeah,
that's okay. People learn something now. They got something clean they can tell their kids. A kid might think that's funny.
Yeah.
That's what it was for.
Yeah.
This wasn't for you. This
for the
is
wee
for your
ones
kids.
out there. Yeah, for the itty bitties out there.
I try to hit every demographic, so we're doing it for the kids
good
too.
For you.
All right, see?
Thinking ahead.
So you should subscribe.
So I'm towards pretty much the end of what I have. I don't know if you have anything else to add to you, if you want to give your closing.
Yeah. So what we've been talking about today: football, basketball, baseball, soccer, any other sports we missed, golf. There's a lot of ways that you can represent Christ in what you do. And like I tell my students, it's okay to do certain things. It's okay to be into sports because I know sports can take kids away from church. And there's a big thing about that right now. Like, they should be at church and not at a sports game on a Wednesday night because it's a makeup game.
It used to be where they wouldn't play on Wednesdays.
Right. And they usually don't, but they've gotten to where they're a little bit more than they used to, but they still don't play on Sunday. That's good. But I know some baseball and some other sports practice on Sunday evenings.
Yeah.
And I tell them, sports isn't a bad thing. It's not innately a bad thing. I was like, be a light in a dark place. If there's bad stuff going on in locker rooms and stuff, that's where you're needed. So go in there, exercise what you've learned here at church and what you learn when you're reading the Bible throughout the week. And I believe some of the players that we've talked about, like C.J. Stroud and them, they do those things. And it's awesome that they have that kind of a role model. And but it's how we speak, what we do, what we say outside of church. And in the bigger picture of things, I guess what I'd wrap it up with is that parent in the stands, the one with the kid when you say that's definitely that kid's parent. Now, I would if that's God, I want people to say that he's definitely a child of God. He's not a child of this world.
Yeah. That's
what I would wrap it up with is who do we reflect when we go out. So I'm not going to wrap it up with my refereeing days. Yeah. So that's it for me. That's all I've got. We love you guys. We'll go back to probably our normal format next week. And I guess I'll see you guys next week. Love you and subscribe, like, and
let me just throw out. I had a few stats and I forgot to read them.
Oh.
So let me just throw these out there real quick. And so about children who play sports and how important it is for the development and their growth,
Yeah.
And so it says academic achievement. Children who play sports score higher on tests and have higher GPAs. They're also more likely to attend college and graduate. physical health. Children who play sports have a lower risk of cancer and diabetes and improved cardiovascular fitness. They also tend to have lower body fat percentage. Career success. Former student athletes tend to earn significantly higher incomes than those who did not play sports. Reduced risk of substance abuse. Female high school athletes are 92% less likely to get involved with drugs. That's a big number, 92% less. Yeah. And female high school athletes are 80% less likely to get pregnant if they play sports. So, and that's what I have on that. And as far as we talked about what you put in your body and how we are mostly made up of water. We're supposed to, the water intake for recovery, and how, you know, Jesus gives us the water and we won't thirst again if we drink from his water, and how he made the human body that way. And 60% of the average adult's weight is made up of water. 73% of the heart's 73% of the heart is composed of water. 80% of the brain is composed of water, and the lungs are also as well. So a lot of your internal organs is water. I mean, that's big number, 80%. Yeah. And it's water in the human body through the years. A child 0 to 1 is made up of 86% water. A child 5 through 14 is made up of 75% water. 20 through 35, 65%. 40 through 50, 55% of their body is made of water. And 60 through 80, 50% is made of water. So it says drink more water.
No kidding.
So anyways, I mean, especially in the younger years, how important water is for. So we want to tell you that you should, your child doesn't have to be athletic or super promising and say, hey, you know what, this is my free ride into retirement, and they're you know, they're going to be, let them have fun, let them participate, let them be part of a team, you know, and the camaraderie that is built, you know, let them do that. If they want to, it might surprise you. You may think that your child is like, they're just not good, they got 2 left feet or whatever. It may surprise you, you know, like you might have a little stud on your hands, and it's like, wow. You know,
and every sport's different. There's
it is.
Football, you got the big hog mollies up front that just mow down the line, and they make way for the running back, right? Then you got the guys in basketball, like they're just back and forth. Tennis, golf, totally different. I mean, everything's got a sport. Hey, I'm just calling it like it is, all right? I mean, so there's a sport for everybody. I promise you, there's a sport for everybody. And let's just say it has nothing to do with the ball. They got all kinds of other stuff and extracurricular activities for kids to do.
Yeah, and there is, you know, there is. What is it, like archery?
Archery. They got that, yes. And they got skeet shooting, you know, where they go out with the guns and they hit the clay targets when it's going through the air. Or do you have FFA and things like that with agriculture, where you learn how to take care of livestock and take care of fields and things like that, and they teach you how that stuff works. There's just all kinds of stuff you can get into.
Like I said, we're called to be light. So sometimes you may say, well, I don't want them hanging around with that group or whatever. But I understand the fear of them having such an influence on your child, but what if they're being put there to be an influence on everybody else? And we sell our children short because it's like, oh, they're not strong enough, smart enough, spiritual enough to do so.
Right, yeah.
How do you know? Because David wasn't either, according to, you know, according to Jesse's own dad, you know, but.
I think a lot of that's fear of what if they become like those kids instead of having faith that God's
trying to protect them.
Yeah, instead of having faith in them.
Yeah. So just that, we encourage you to, you know, allow them to do stuff like that. And we, like the stats read, it helps them out just in life in general going forward. It helps out tremendously. So allow them to do that. Show them that they should be the light. And for you parents are driving them there, relax, chill a little bit. You know, you don't have to be so high strung and wound up so tight. And let me just say, had a closing statement, and yes, here it is. I just need to remind myself what it was. You don't have to be a high-level athlete or have a ton of followers to set a good example. if you profess to be a Christian, I promise that people are watching anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, it is not about your followers on whatever social media platform you're on. As long as you say that you're a Christian, there's eyeballs on you all the time. It's like, look at how they're acting. Look at, they say they're a
Yes.
Christian, but look. So you have the responsibility and to be a great example for others. So like I said, you don't have to be a high level athlete, professional athlete, none of that stuff to have an impact on others. So I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I like that, just
That's
kind of a
good.
little laid
Yeah.
back, a little different and stuff. So we just wanted to mix it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please, we're gonna finish it the way we always do. Don't forget to focus on your vertical relationship, as that will breathe life into your horizontal relationships. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Don't forget to tell your loved ones that you love them. For the Vertical Podcast, I'm Byron Garcia. That's the Jared Morphew. Thank you for tuning in.
Nailed it, man.